right, this time of the morning, this time of the show, we're going to delve into our book review segment. It's called In the Late of the Night. It's by Ntombi Nkabinde, and it follows 4 women, Nomzamo, Kioni, Jazmine, and Asanda. They're navigating love, commitment, friendship, and life's unpredictable twists. But Nkabinde writes with honesty and also heartfelt, relatable, it's a heartfelt and relatable story. It's about messiness, but also hope, and also a journey towards connection and self-discovery. So with these characters, I laughed with them, I cried with them, I cringed with them, and I also felt a deep sense of hope as well for each woman who navigates, their life and embarks on this journey of resilience. And so the author Ntombi now joins us this morning as we sift through our offering. So very good morning, welcome, and thank you at this hour for joining us.
Good morning, thank you so much for inviting me.
As I mentioned, it was highly relatable, I think, for young professionals, for women as well. Just having the agency to hear our story being told in a modern society, it was befitting. So thank you for penning thoughts to paper on that front.
Thank you.
I want to start off with Nomzamo. I mean, it's the first chapter, and she obviously is someone who wants to have a child. The husband's hesitating. There's frustration, and there's this also sense of hope. And I wonder, in developing a character, who that would have been based on in your own life, but even if we're looking at how she manages to navigate that sense of frustration, that sense of waiting, that pregnant pause. Tell us a little bit more about developing Nomzamo.
So all my characters are just from my wild imagination.
Okay.
I didn't base them on anyone I know. So yeah, just developing this character, I wanted people, when they read it, to really get a sense of what it feels like to yearn for something, to want something, but also have that thing be dependent on somebody else. So it's not just dependent on you and what you want. You also you're waiting for somebody to actually want the same thing that you want. So that yearning, that waiting, not really knowing when is this going to happen, and is it going to happen eventually? Yeah, so I wanted people to get a sense of that and understand what it feels like to be in that character's.
And it comes through, especially when your identity is built on marriage and who you are in the marriage, but also a sense of trust. And these are universal aspects that, one has to explore, especially when you have to reassert your identity in a union.
Yeah.
What healing did that bring to you? I mean, even if extended so far as their own relationships, they hurt each other as well, right? Which is speaking to the point of being flawed and infallible, but but also finding ways to reconnect, to also find hope as well, and support each other along this journey.
Yeah, so through writing the whole book, not just with the Nomzamo character, just with everyone. For myself, I also find some emotional healing, because as you go through society, as you go through life, we are told you have to go to school, get a job, be married, have a child. For me, being single at this age, it also just gave me the sense of triumph to say I can redefine what my life is supposed to be. I don't necessarily have to go through life as society says life should be. This is my life.
And that's Asanda's character. She's fiercely independent as well. And thank you for, speaking to that, because they are roles that have been prescribed, and it doesn't mean that we have to obviously live into that. Talk to us about Asanda, though, because at some point, yes, there is that fierce independence, but the emotional, sometimes I felt like she lacked emotion. And I don't think that's fair. Sometimes you have to sit in it and feel the disappointment, feel the hope, feel the love as well. So what went into developing her character for you?
So Asanda also, she grows up with that thing, she watches her mother getting married in her 20s. So she's also told, go through life, gain success, study, have your own things, and then eventually everything will fall into place. You will find that somebody. And, you just go through these complex emotional things that happen when you find out that even though you do follow the script that society prescribes to you, life doesn't necessarily go that way.
And so I want to bring Jazmine into the conversation, because then Jazmine obviously takes a different route. She's got 2 kids. She's not she doesn't want to fall in love. She's been hurt. She's been heartbroken. Then the doctor comes along and obviously, she has to open up and re-explore what love means. So talk to us about navigating that aspect as well, right? Especially after hurt and pain.
Yeah. Shame, Jazmine.
Yeah, shame.
Jazmine, I would say, is my most favorite character. I love them all, but she's my most favorite character. Because you also see her, I also went through that teenage pregnancy, but then you also see her, you know, fight through life, fight to have her kids actually grow up in normal household, but also you see her maybe being afraid of love because of what what has happened in her life, being left with 2 kids. But I also just wanted to showcase that even though you feel like life hasn't dealt you lemonade, you know, you can still find happiness even through that.
Yeah. Kioni and Michael then also add a different dynamic, because Michael wants to commit, Kioni doesn't know. Does he want to just use her? I mean, there's also realities that want us to explore. So re-navigating that, accepting love as well, that can also be hard at times.
Yeah, it can be. And I also just wanted to showcase the fact that these are independent, very successful women. You find that you are this boss, you know, at work and everything, but there is that thing, that hole that you want to fill. And yeah, we want to fill it by other people, you know, getting into a relationship, falling in love, being married. But you see them eventually, they redefine what happiness, contentment, and love is at the end.
It's to your point about companionship as well.
True.
But I think throughout the book, it becomes very clear, love is not simple, right? It's so nuanced, it's so layered. It's just, and I mean, even a play on the words on the title, In the Late of the Night. I mean, this is where your mind is racing. This is where you can only face yourself. You have to confront yourself as well. And those are the deep, dark shadows, right? That I think at times we often run away from to keep busy, especially when you have your successful career or you have kids and you focus on them to distract yourself from yourself. I wonder if you can, you know, explore what that title actually meant for you in encompassing, you know, that shadow self, that holistic self that we don't necessarily delve into all the time.
So it's exactly what you said.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
because at night it's just you and you know. You don't have your circle of friends, you don't have your co-workers, you don't have your job in front of you. It's you exploring who you are, your deep dark sense, you know, of who you are as a person. And you also gain clarity through that introspection, which I think, like you're saying, a lot of people tend to run away from. But this is who you are, your core self. When you're by yourself, who are you? And that's when you gain that clarity also as a person.
It's also just important to note that we can't do life alone, and it doesn't happen in isolation. And obviously what's also evoked has to be healed and dealt with, and then you continue together. I want to know if there's a sequel coming.
Unfortunately not.
Oh, okay, cool.
I have to move on. I have to write other books.
But that means you've healed, right? Through this.
Yeah, and I hope other people find healing as well.
Thank you. I did. I think Jazmine's character also for me resonated a lot. But it's a conversation starter for so many more. But we'll leave it there for now. Ntombi, thank you for your time, and thank you for putting thoughts to paper.
Thank you so much.
In the Late of the Night, it's about the dark hours when doubts creep in, but it's also about the light and the love of friendship, and also just the journey of resilience. And this is what Ntombi Nkabinde penned in her latest offering. It just reminds us that even though life can be messy and complicated, love is also worth the risk.